Most people think retirement is about what you buy, but the real secret? It's about what you're willing to let go of. What if keeping the wrong things you're emotionally tied to or financially overcommitted to, is quietly draining your future security? Today, we're going to count down the 10 things Warren Buffett would sell before retiring. Not because it's trendy, but because it creates clarity, freedom, and true financial optionality. By the end, you'll see retirement not as an endpoint, but as a choice worth protecting. Let's start with something most people feel safe holding, but shouldn't. Number 10. Not all your cash is safe. Cash feels safe, but it slowly loses real value. Here's the uncomfortable truth most people never hear. Cash doesn't grow, and over long periods, it doesn't even stay still. It quietly shrinks. According to Investopedia and decades of market data, inflation is the invisible tax on cash. Even at low inflation, your purchasing power erodes year after year. What feels like safety is often just slow-motion loss. Now, this doesn't mean cash is bad. Cash has a role: emergencies, short-term needs, peace of mind. Buffett himself keeps cash for flexibility, but he never lets it sit without purpose. The danger is excess cash, money parked with no job, no plan, no timeline. Imagine filling a bathtub while the drain is open. You feel productive because the water level looks high, but every minute, some of it is slipping away. That's cash under inflation. Many future retirees fall into this trap. They sell assets, stop investing aggressively, and pile up cash because it feels conservative. But conservative doesn't mean safe, it means intentional. Historically, inflation has outpaced cash returns by a wide margin. Over 10, 20, 30 years, that gap compounds. And compounding works both ways. It can build wealth or quietly destroy it. The real question isn't, do I have cash? It's, does my cash have a clear purpose? Emergency fund? Good. Planned expenses? Smart. Everything else? That money is bleeding time. And before we talk about where cash should go, we need to talk about the first big thing most people hold on to far too tightly, and why selling it can unlock real retirement freedom. Number 9. Your big house. Bigger isn't always better, especially in retirement. For decades, the big house was a symbol of success. More rooms, more space, more memories. And during your working years, it made sense. But retirement changes the math. That house you needed when the kids were young, it now comes with empty bedrooms and very full expenses. Property taxes don't retire when you do. Neither do maintenance costs, insurance, utilities, repairs, or surprise fixes that show up at the worst time. Roof, plumbing, HVAC, landscaping. And here's the part most people miss: opportunity cost. Your home isn't just an emotional asset. It's capital, and in many cases, it's idle capital. If a large portion of your net worth is locked inside a house you no longer need, that money isn't generating income. It's not reducing stress. It's not buying flexibility. It's just sitting there, demanding upkeep. Buffett often reminds investors to think in terms of what an asset produces, not how it feels. A house can be a wonderful place to live, but it's rarely a productive retirement asset when it's oversized. Downsizing doesn't mean downgrading your life. It means upgrading your freedom. A smaller home often brings lower costs, simpler living, and released equity that can be redirected toward income-producing investments. That shift alone can change retirement from fragile to resilient. And no, this isn't about giving up comfort. It's about aligning your lifestyle with your stage of life. The hardest part isn't the math. It's letting go of what once represented success, even when it no longer serves you. And that brings us to another luxury many people keep, one that looks harmless, but silently bleeds wealth year after year. Number 8. Extra cars and wheels that idle wealth. Cars depreciate, but their costs compound. A car feels harmless, it's paid off, it's sitting in the driveway, you barely think about it. But every vehicle you own is quietly charging rent. Insurance, registration, maintenance, repairs, and the biggest cost of all, depreciation, happens whether you drive it or not. In retirement, this matters more than ever. You're no longer commuting 5 days a week. You're driving fewer miles, living closer, moving slower. Yet many retirees still own 2, 3, sometimes 4 vehicles. Each one ties up capital that could be producing income instead of losing value. Warren Buffett has famously driven modest, reliable cars for decades, not because he can't afford more, but because he understands a simple truth. A car's job is transportation. Everything beyond that is ego, convenience, or habit, and habits are expensive. Even a cheap extra car can cost thousands per year when you add it all up. Multiply that by 10 or 20 years of retirement, and the math becomes painfully clear. Selling an unused or rarely used vehicle does two things at once. It frees cash, and it lowers ongoing expenses. That's a double win in retirement planning. This isn't about deprivation, it's about alignment. One reliable car that does the job is often enough. Two, if your lifestyle truly requires it. Anything beyond that is usually wealth idling in the driveway. And if something this practical can quietly drain your finances, wait until we talk about the asset many people call a dream, but rarely delivers one. Number 7. Your beach house might be a tax and expense trap. On the surface, it sounds perfect. A lake house, a beach condo, a mountain cabin, a place for memories, family weekends, and future freedom. But here's the reality most owners avoid admitting. Vacation homes are used far less than imagined and paid for all year long. Property taxes don't care how often you visit. Neither do insurance, utilities, HOA fees, repairs, or upkeep. Even when the house sits empty, the bills keep arriving. When you do the math, it gets uncomfortable fast. Many second homes are used a few weeks a year, sometimes less. That means you're paying premium prices for limited enjoyment, while a large amount of capital sits locked up and unproductive. From a Buffett-style perspective, this is the key question. What is this asset producing for you? If a vacation home isn't generating income and isn't being fully used, it's not an asset. It's a lifestyle liability. There's also the opportunity cost. The money tied up in that property could be invested to generate reliable retirement income. Income that could fund vacations anywhere, anytime, without maintenance, taxes, or commitment to one location. Renting flexibility often beats owning obligation. And emotionally, this one is hard. Family memories, traditions, a sense of identity tied to a place. But retirement isn't about preserving every symbol of the past. It's about protecting future freedom. Many retirees who sell their vacation homes don't travel less. They travel more. They just do it without the stress, cost, and responsibility. And now that we've covered physical assets, the next thing to reconsider isn't real estate at all. It's something far more emotional and far more dangerous to ignore. Number 6. Emotion-tied investments. Sentiment clouds good financial decisions. This one doesn't sit in your driveway, and it doesn't have a roof, but it can be far more dangerous. Emotion-tied investments. Stocks you inherited from family, shares from a company you worked for, a business you believe in because it feels personal. According to Investopedia, one of the biggest risks retirees face is concentration risk. Having too much money tied to one investment, one company, or one story. And emotions are usually the reason. The market doesn't reward loyalty. It doesn't care about nostalgia. And it certainly doesn't protect you because something used to be a great company. Buffett has been very clear on this point. Emotion is the enemy of sound investing. Even great businesses can become bad investments if they dominate your portfolio. In retirement, this risk becomes magnified. If 30 or 40% of your net worth depends on one stock, one industry, one outcome, a single mistake or market shift can permanently damage your financial security. Many people tell themselves, "I'll hold it forever." But forever is a luxury you don't have when your income depends on that capital. Selling emotionally held investments isn't betrayal, it's responsibility. It's recognizing that your retirement doesn't need to prove loyalty. It needs stability, diversification, and predictable income. Yes, selling may trigger taxes, but taxes are the cost of success and often far cheaper than the risk of holding too long. Letting go of emotional investments doesn't mean abandoning belief. It means separating memory from money. And speaking of risk, there's one area where risk often hides in plain sight, especially for people who built something themselves. Number 5. Your business without an exit plan. Building is one thing. Exiting is another. For entrepreneurs, this might be the hardest one to hear. Your business isn't just an asset, it's identity. It's years of effort, sacrifice, and pride. But here's the truth most business owners avoid. A business without an exit plan isn't a retirement asset. It's a job, one that never really ends. Many owners assume they'll figure it out later. They keep working, keep reinvesting, keep delaying, and slowly their wealth becomes trapped inside the business, not accessible, not diversified, not liquid. From a Buffett-style lens, this is concentration risk again, just in a different form. If most of your net worth depends on one business, one industry, or one set of customers, your retirement security is fragile. Health issues, market shifts, or leadership gaps can destroy value quickly if there's no plan. An exit plan doesn't mean walking away tomorrow. It means clarity. Who takes over? How do you get paid? What does income look like after you step back? Selling at the right time, when the business is healthy, growing, and well-structured, often produces far better outcomes than waiting until you're tired, forced, or rushed. And even if you don't sell outright, succession matters. Systems matter. Leadership matters. Your goal is to convert years of hard work into freedom, not ongoing stress. Buffett often talks about rational decision-making, not emotional attachment. If a business can't support your retirement without your constant involvement, it's time to rethink its role in your life. Because retirement isn't about running faster, it's about stepping lighter. Now that we've covered the big visible assets, let's pivot to something far quieter, the hidden costs most retirees overlook and pay for dearly. Number 4, high fees and leaky expenses. Fees are silent wealth killers. They don't crash your account overnight. They don't make headlines. They just quietly drain you. According to AOL and long-standing research, Buffett often references fees matter more than most people realize, especially in retirement, when compounding works in reverse if you're not careful. A 1% fee sounds small, but over 20 or 30 years, it can consume a shocking portion of your returns. Investment fees, management fees, advisory fees, layered on top of fund fees. Then there are lifestyle leaks, subscriptions you barely use, insurance policies that no longer fit your life, services added out of convenience and never questioned again. Individually, they seem harmless. Together, they form a permanent drag on your financial engine. Buffett has always been clear. Cost control is one of the few things investors can actually control. You can't control markets. You can't control returns, but you can control what you pay. And in retirement, that control is priceless. Every dollar lost to unnecessary fees is a dollar that doesn't compound. Every recurring expense increases the income your portfolio must generate just to stand still. This is why smart retirees regularly audit their finances. Not once, but continuously. They simplify, they consolidate, they ask, does this still serve me? Because wealth isn't just about what you earn, it's about what you keep. And once you plug the leaks, you start to notice something deeper. Beyond money, there's a psychological asset almost everyone mismanages, and selling it might be the most powerful move of all. Number 3, bad habits compound faster than good returns. This one isn't on a balance sheet, but it might be the most expensive asset you still own. According to NASDAQ and behavioral finance research, long-term financial outcomes are driven less by market timing and more by repeated decisions made under emotion. Small habits, repeated often, over decades, impulse spending that feels earned, lifestyle creep that quietly resets your baseline, emotional reactions during market swings, panic selling, euphoric buying. None of these ruin you all at once. They drain you slowly. And the closer you get to retirement, the more damage they can do because there's less time to recover. Buffett has always emphasized temperament over intelligence. You don't need a high IQ to build wealth. You need discipline, the ability to do nothing when everyone else is panicking, and restraint when temptation shows up disguised as just this once. Selling bad money habits means changing defaults, pausing before spending, separating wants from needs, creating simple rules that remove emotion from decisions. This isn't about being cheap, it's about being intentional. A retiree with average returns and strong habits often outperforms someone with higher returns and poor behavior, because consistency beats brilliance when time is limited. The good news? Habits are sellable. You can replace reaction with routine, impulse with structure, fear with a plan, and once you do, everything else becomes easier. Because the next thing to sell isn't an expense or an asset, it's a mindset that quietly sabotages even the best plans. Number 2, FOMO is the silent voice urging bad decisions. It whispers, not shouts. Everyone else is making money. This time is different. If you don't act now, you'll regret it. According to AOL and decades of market history, chasing trends and trying to time the market is one of the fastest ways investors destroy long-term returns, especially later in life. FOMO turns investing into entertainment, and entertainment is expensive. You buy high because the story feels exciting. You sell low because fear suddenly feels real. And over time, those emotional swings create stress, not wealth. Buffett's approach is the opposite. He doesn't rush, he doesn't chase headlines, and he's perfectly comfortable doing nothing when there's nothing smart to do. In retirement, this discipline becomes essential. When your portfolio is meant to support your lifestyle, volatility isn't just uncomfortable, it's dangerous. FOMO-driven decisions can permanently reduce capital you'll never have time to replace. Selling FOMO means accepting a powerful truth. You don't need to catch every opportunity to be financially secure. You need a plan that works when markets are boring and holds together when they're not. This mindset lowers stress, it improves sleep, and it keeps you invested long enough for compounding to actually work. Once you let go of FOMO, investing becomes quieter, more predictable, more aligned with retirement goals. And finally, there's one last thing to sell before retirement, the belief that keeps all the others alive. Number 1, security isn't stuff, it's freedom. This is the belief behind every mistake we've talked about. The reason people hold too much cash, the reason they keep big houses, extra cars, vacation homes, and emotional investments. Because somewhere along the way, we were taught that owning more means being safer. But in retirement, that equation breaks. Stuff creates responsibility. Responsibility creates cost, and cost demands income, whether you want it to or not. Real security doesn't come from what you own. It comes from what your assets do for you. Liquidity, so you can adapt. Flexibility, so you're not trapped. Income, so your lifestyle isn't dependent on perfect market conditions. Buffett's own life is a quiet example of this principle. He didn't chase bigger houses or more possessions. He optimized for simplicity, because simplicity reduces risk. When your wealth is tied up in things, you become their manager. When your wealth is structured to produce income, you become free. This doesn't mean living without comfort. It means choosing assets that support your life instead of complicating it. Retirement isn't about preserving symbols of success. It's about protecting your ability to choose how you spend your time, who you spend it with, and what you worry about. Once you sell the belief that stuff equals security, every other decision becomes clearer. That mindset shift is the foundation for peace of mind, for resilience, for a retirement built on freedom, not maintenance.